truth goes public or it goes down.
Stand down! Do not let her drop it!
It's gone. It's in the water. Mission failed. The data is public.
Truth redacted.
The Washington Post just delivered a brutal reality check to their own newsroom. Over 300 staff members are getting pink slips today. While legacy media crumbles, there's only one platform that's absolutely dominating the information war, and the establishment is panicking about what this means for their narrative control. You see, this isn't just about newspaper layoffs. This is about the complete collapse of the Democrat propaganda machine. When the Washington Post, Jeff Bezos' personal political weapon, can't even keep the lights on, that tells you everything about where Americans are getting their real news right now. The next news network. You see, these aren't just job cuts. They're admissions of defeat. The same outlets have spent years lying about Russian collusion, covering up Hunter's laptop, and pushing every anti-Trump conspiracy theory are now facing extinction. Meanwhile, did you hear this? X, yes, formerly known as Twitter, has become the #1 news source in over 140 countries. The information revolution is here, and the gatekeepers are being obliterated. And speaking of America's strategic independence, there is a critical development every patriot needs to understand right now. This breaking news flew under the radar on January 5th of this year. Did you know the U.S. Department of Energy announced $2.7 billion in contracts to restore domestic uranium enrichment capabilities? Yeah, this is not just government spending, it's a declaration of intent. You see, America needs uranium, domestic uranium, and it needs it right now. The U.S., if you didn't know, consumes 50 million pounds of uranium annually, but produces only 5% domestically. You know what that is? That's a national security nightmare. While legacy media focuses on their own collapse, smart Americans are positioning themselves in the uranium sector. I'm talking about Atomic Minerals. They are leading the charge with strategic assets in Wyoming's uranium-rich district. As America rebuilds its nuclear independence, uranium demand will skyrocket. Now, the Department of Energy contracts prove this is not speculation. It's really just inevitability. Every day that we delay domestic production, we remain vulnerable to foreign manipulation. Atomic Minerals represents your opportunity to profit from America's uranium renaissance. Visit the link down below for your exclusive briefing to secure your position in America's energy independence. Now, back to the media meltdown. This is what makes it even more delicious. The timing of the mass layoff comes right after Trump's historic victory, right after Elon Musk proved that citizen journalism destroys corporate propaganda every single time. The Washington Post's own election coverage basically became their obituary. When you can't compete with the truth, you can't compete at all. Check this out. On a day Jeff Bezos sacrifices the soul of the Washington Post to lick the outsized ass of the village idiot, a throwback day to the Katharine Graham family handed him the newspaper, thinking money is all it takes to keep the flame of journalism burning. Graham sells to sell the Post. This opening sets up the controversy. Now let's see how the media analysts are breaking down Bezos' real motivation behind that acquisition. You don't buy the Washington Post for sports coverage, you buy it for influence. Timcast News writing, Jeff Bezos consolidated the Post to stay relevant inside Washington's power ecosystem, not to preserve local reporting.
There's decline in certain sports, but I do think it's just they lost a bunch of subscriptions. Like Bezos bought the Washington Post to have more influence on Washington politics because that's the paper that they pay attention to typically in Washington. Mm-hmm. Although we were talking about earlier, Trump loves the New York Times. He hates it, but he wants positive coverage in the New York Times more than any other paper. But like that's why you buy the Washington Post. So like sports, local reporting, like the shift to national news, like it's clearly Bezos like consolidating that paper to try to make it viable. And it is funny that the Democrats are the ones who kind of ruined it by canceling all their subscriptions, throwing a little hissy fit.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Democrats have a history of shooting themselves in the foot. But I do think that this does speak to the fact that there was a time where everybody in the country would subscribe to one of the major papers, right? Whether it be the Times or maybe the Wall Street Journal or, the Washington Post here. But the fact that people go to the internet now Like no one goes to pick up the newspaper anymore. And I think that maybe there are people out there that are like, oh, I still like the crossword puzzles, but otherwise, like people just go to, I mean, why would you go to a news organization and pay for their product when you can go to X and get it from some, one of the journalists that wrote it will put it up on their page, or maybe you like a particular journalist, so you go to their Substack.
Or you go to the next news network and you follow us. Now, that influence angle gets changed immediately, but here's some pushback suggesting Bezos got fed up with his own newsroom approach. Good journalists, even Bezos, got tired of how the Post writers were just political hacks. Opinion on the Washington Post. The hard truth: Americans don't trust the news media. A note from our owner. A note from our owner, Jeff Bezos. Personal criticism side, let's look at the hard numbers driving the cuts. The financial reality is brutal. The newsroom is shrinking. The business model is the story. Hundreds of journalists are being laid off as a major newsroom resets its structure, cutting local, international, and sports coverage after annual losses topping $100 million, following an earlier 4% workforce cut. So here we have one of the richest men in the world. Yeah, the guy that owns Amazon, got his own rocket ship company rivaling Elon Musk, can't even keep the Washington Post running. I mean, think about that. The business case is clear, but here's what actually is getting axed. Yellow Journalism Post tries cost-saving maneuvers, eliminating sports department and reduces overseas journalists, according to the Associated Press. With departments being eliminated, the layoff announcements start hitting, and critics are already declaring victory. Vince Langman, Washington Post, is laying off 300 employees in a major cost-cutting move today. Apparently, fake news doesn't sell anymore because X is the new media. Remember this headline? Dawn of a new Trump era. Big win may give license for radical change. Harris says, fight that fueled her run endures. The new Trump era. And we're all living in it now. Thank God. The gloating continues as more details emerge about how staff are learning their fate. Yeah, the memes make themselves. The Washington Post laying off 300 staff. Everyone's been asked to stay home and log into a Zoom webinar. Imagine getting laid off on Zoom. They can no longer compete after X became the #1 news source in over 140 countries. Why? Because we are the media now. Next News Network has been running on YouTube since 2012. That's how long we've been here. Long before Elon Musk decided to buy X. We have been pushing and at the forefront, pioneering the new media since 2012. Even before that, my first YouTube channel, 2006. I had other shows that I had produced, other formats. The Reality Report, maybe some of you remember that. Early election coverage, live panels, streaming. I mean, we were the first to do it. And we laid the tracks. Now people riding the rails. Speaking of how the news broke, here's how the official word went out. This was Benny Johnson's post this morning. Mass layoffs expected at the Post today. Staff's been instructed to stay home for a Zoom meeting, announcing significant actions across the country. This is what was written. Dear all, we will be announcing some significant actions across the company today. We're asking everyone to stay at home this morning for a Zoom webinar at 8:30 a.m. Eastern to share the details. We'll be sending a detailed invite later this morning. Please make every effort to join. Thank you, Matt and Wayne. Yeah, they don't want everyone showing up to work and, maybe having a fit. Ironically, while While we're covering the Post struggles, they're still reporting on their other closures, but there might be some confusion. Washington Post even posts this. I think they're shutting it down because they can't fill the seats. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez had that to say about Trump's closure of the Kennedy Center. But Senator Josh Hawley denied the closure was related to that and said it was to upgrade the space. Ironic. Shutting it down, can't fill the seats. Exactly what's happening at the Washington Post. And looks like we got this from the Loftus Party, clearing up any confusion about the Washington Post.
Money thing, and when you're actively throwing piles of money onto a fire, you stop. Like I was laughing out loud when I found out the Washington Post had a sports section.
I know.
Like, who's like, oh my gosh, I have to catch up on last night's ball game. Hand me the Washington Post. Let's see what happened with local sports team. My God, the Redskins. Can we do something about that name? I can't bear to read it. It's horrible. Then they had a big uproar because they weren't going to go to cover the Olympics. And that's like their only hope of ever getting laid, right? You show up at the Winter Olympics, you can claim to be on a team. Like, you don't write for the Post. No, I'm a luge guy. I'm a luge guy.
I'm the bottom man, I'm the luge guy.
Yeah, the Washington Post having a sports section is hilarious. Get rid of it. It's as useless as a one-legged frog in a butt-kicking contest. Get him gone.
And that's exactly what happened. They got axed. So here's the beautiful irony. The same newspaper that coined democracy dies in darkness is dying in broad daylight. While they were busy trying to destroy Trump, X, and independent media like us, they ran hit pieces on me right after the 2016 election. Front page news, as a matter of fact. But they can try all they want. We are still busy destroying them. 300 jobs gone, and that's only the beginning. The information war is over, and we won. You see, the mainstream media's monopoly on information is officially dead and buried. When Jeff Bezos can't even keep his propaganda rag profitable, you know the American people have completely rejected their lies. See, this is what winning looks like, not just politically, but culturally. We're the media now. They can't stop what's coming. Every pink slip in the Washington Post is a victory for truth, a victory for America first, and a victory for every patriot who refused to believe they're garbage. The revolution will not be televised because we don't need their permission anymore. So do you think this is just the beginning of the mainstream media collapse? Let me know in the comments. While you're at it, check out the Next News merch shop to show your support for real journalism.
The system controls information. Information control is power.
They don't want you to see this.
The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now. You know out.